Hello, and welcome to the Planetary Light Grid Network. This is Edlin's Ascension Show. I'm your host, Edlin, and I will be bringing you insights, knowledge, and guidance from our teachers, masters, and healers to help you find and live a life on purpose. The time is now. Come join us in co-creating the new Earth through the Planetary Light Grid Network. We have a course available for you to find your spiritual purpose, and that is available in the description below. Today, I'm sharing with you a very special interview from Paula Rehder. She shares with us her story of how she found her spiritual purpose, how her light emerged, and how she manages to live a life on purpose in harmony and gratitude. So if this resonates with you and your path, we invite you to stick around. If you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your friends. We're here with Paula Rehder, and she is an energy healing facilitator, a fellow light worker, and a messenger for humanity's peace. She manages to live in alignment with her purpose, which is to help restore and bring back healing to the planet. And we're here today talking about spiritual purpose, how to find your spiritual purpose. So I'm wondering, Paula, what are some of the challenges that you have gone through when you're finding your spiritual purpose?
So, hi, thanks for the welcome. It's great to be here. Some of the challenges that I've encountered whilst on my path to finding my spiritual purpose is patience is one of them, has been quite a big one for me. Trust is another. And I think those two are my biggest ones.
Okay. And has it been quite a journey for you? Like, how long have you been, or would you consider, have you been on your spiritual path?
Well, I think I've been on my spiritual path a lot longer than I actually believe I have. But consciously, I have been on my spiritual path for 20 years, since 2020. Oh. That is when everything opened up for me.
Yes. And then did you recognize that right away, or was there a shift or a change, or like what was different for you that you knew?
Well, I didn't initially. And that is actually where the patience and trust came in. I actually went onto my spiritual path through a medical challenge or a unwellness challenge, put it that way. And I had to undergo maxillofacial surgery. And I was basically imprisoned of voice and ability to communicate. And I had no idea what door that inability for me to be able to speak was going to open up for me. So I didn't know right away. No, I had absolutely no idea.
Can you tell us what happened and how, what that was like for you?
I'm very happy to open that part of my life up. I had a very slight underbite, but my bite didn't actually meet. So I was told on 3 occasions by my dentist that I needed to have surgery just to correct my bite. Unbeknown to me, they had to reconstruct both my top and my bottom jaw. So I was not in a coma. I was in ICU with tubes, etc., because they had to reconstruct my face or part of my jaw. And I've got plates and screws holding up my face. So it was really nothing serious. But the dentists suggested that I needed to do it. Had I left it for much longer, I would have landed up having arthritis of the jaws, and that wouldn't have been very comfortable. So they suggested that I do that at a younger age, which wasn't really that young age, but I underwent that. And it was really traumatic. I had no idea that I was going to undergo what I underwent. And when I woke up, or when I came round from anesthetic, I understood that my mouth was imprisoned. I don't think it was something that was ever mentioned. Well, I know it was nothing that it was ever mentioned to me that I would be unable to speak. So nothing could come in and nothing could come out of my mouth after surgery. And that lasted for 7 weeks. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't even blow out a candle. And I think, the candle always sticks so prominently in my mind, because I remember thinking something as easy as blowing out a candle. I mean, how easy is it to blow out a candle? I was unable to blow out a candle. And the first couple of days, perhaps the first 2 days, it was okay to communicate. I'd write down everything I wanted to communicate, and it became tedious and tiresome and draining. So I stopped communicating altogether, and I went into a silent world, in a silent world, for 7 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so when you were in that space and where you weren't communicating outwardly, were you doing meditations on the inside, or like what was happening, inside your mind, inside you? Like because you're still there. What were you doing?
I was listening to my inner voice. I was forced to listen to my inner voice. And I wasn't initially doing meditations because it wasn't part of my life then. I had practiced meditation before, but it wasn't something that I would do on a regular basis. I had a different type of lifestyle then. But it forced me to listen to that inner voice of mine, and my inner voice started guiding me into the depth of my heart. And it started exposing a lot of my truth, a lot of the realities that were happening around me as well. It started to present to me how powerful we really are. Because a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks into not being able to eat, and when I say I was unable to eat, I really mean I was unable to eat. I survived on 200 milliliters of fluids, and it had to be complete clear fluid a day. It took me hours to drop by drop intake 200 milliliters of fluid. And this made me realize how powerful we actually are. Because if we can survive without food and we can survive without fluids, we are phenomenal beings. We are absolutely phenomenal beings. So if we have the power to be able to maintain our bodies alive without food, what else are we able to do? And that is what set me off on my spiritual quest, because I knew that there was more to life. There was much more. We were so much more powerful than what we perceived to be. And I observed from the outside world, and the outside world, what it demonstrated to me was that all we really did was eat and drink and speak. It's all we really did. And everything revolved around being social, and every social event revolved around eating and speaking. And here I was, isolated from eating, speaking, or drinking, but I still socialized. I was still very much part of thing that was happening around me. But I went deeper, and I started meditating, and I started looking for answers. I found many teachers thereafter.
Wow, that's really profound. And when in those times where you were going inward and you realized that everybody is doing the eating and speaking and all of these things, and you weren't, did you make any decisions at that moment? Or were you sure? Did you know that you would get better and come out of this and want to be different in some way?
I knew that I was going to come out of it, and I was going to come out of it stronger. I definitely knew that. I knew that. Was I going to be different in any way? I think I've always been different. I've always stood out from the normal crowd. But yes, I did know that I was going to come out of it, and I was going to come out of it stronger and better, which I did do.
Wonderful.
Which I did do.
So, I mean, does it, having gone through something, so profound, and traumatic as that, I mean, what makes you feel connected to something larger now?
I found that larger part of life and universe in my silence. That was the only real communication that I had, was with the greater aspect of all that really is. So it was that greater aspect of all that is as well that gave me the courage to persevere and to carry on, knowing that this too shall pass and that I will come out of it way, way stronger. So it was during my times of silence that I had already connected with that greater part. And it is there. And if we only take the time to listen, it speaks so loudly to all of us.
Yes, I think that's really important too. And I think a lot of people have some challenges just doing that, just listening. Do you have any advice for people who want to have that connection?
Yeah, I do. Look, I was forced into listening. I was forced into listening. My life was too chaotic and I wasn't listening. And the universe definitely had a different plan for me and definitely wanted me to listen. So the advice that I have is to just give yourself a little bit of me time. It doesn't have to be 5 hours in a day. It can be 5 minutes. It can be 7 minutes of your day. Just find a moment of stillness and propose your question and give yourself the time to listen to the answer, because the answers are there. The answers are there.
Now, is that the same advice that you would give to yourself, like say 3 years ago? Or do you like, what would be the biggest advice that you would say to your past self, knowing now what you do know, like say 3 years ago?
To my past self, I would have definitely said, slow down. Just slow down a few paces. Yeah. And go inward. I was too preoccupied with the outside world that I failed to see the beauty and the wisdom that lies within us all.
So do you have a regular practice where you connect regularly or daily, or how many times a day?
Well, I do tend to find my still moments before I get out of bed in the morning and when I go to bed at night. I find those my most appropriate moments of days to connect. I always acknowledge my higher self and acknowledge me as in my breath, my heart center. Upon waking up, before I even open my eyes, I greet myself and I propose my questions there. And I usually find the answers of the questions I propose to, the guidance that I'm looking for before going to sleep at night. There is one thing that I'd like to share, is that we all connect with that we all recognize ourselves. I tell many of my clients, go to the bathroom in the morning and before you brush your teeth, high five yourself and say, hi, I'm here. Look at yourself in the eyes and really recognize yourself for who you are, that amazing, powerful human being, because we really are. We really, truly are.
Yes.
So I came to learn that it was during the darkest moments in life that I aligned to the brightest opportunities. It was through the most traumatic experiences that my light emerged. But I always, since a little girl, I always wanted to change the planet. I always wanted to make the planet a more beautiful and a kinder place to live. And since a young little girl, I had this vision of being involved in challenging the planet and making the planet a better world. And I felt that I needed to say that.
We've been here with Paula Rehder, talking about our spiritual purpose. I will see you next week.
Yeah, have a great one.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I truly hope you enjoyed the video and got some useful information. We'd love to see your comments and questions below. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and the bell so you don't miss any of our videos. I'll be doing videos like this one every Thursday, including some interviews. And you can see Alyssa's Aura Reading Show on Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our group has been doing meditations for about a year now, light grid meditations, and we're opening that up for everyone every other Sunday. We're going live with our meditations on YouTube and Facebook. And as you know, the more of us that get together and meditate at the same time, the more powerful we are. So look for those and please join us. Would you like to be a guest on our YouTube channel? I've got a link in the description. Click that for more information for a chance to be on our channel. We'd love to hear from you if you have a story or experience you'd like to share with us about the light grid.